Physics 2212, Lab 1, Charge Tapes. Introduction. The purpose of the lab was to explore the idea of excess charge and electric forces, and we did so with the use of Scotch tape. The main physical principles are Coulomb's law, which is explained here, gravitational force, which is just F equals mg, and then Newton's third law, which states that for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. Observations. Our main observation was how the two charged U-tapes would repel each other, and this is because they have the same charge. The charged U-tape was attracted to neutral objects such as hands or books, and the charged U-tape was attracted to the negatively charged pen, which led us to believe that the tape has a positive charge. As well, we know that tape A exerts mainly a vertical force on the floating portion of the tape, and they repel, which causes the tape B to float. And then the force diagram here on our right shows the floating portion of the tape B, where we have the force of gravity on the bottom is equal to the force of the electric field, which is the arrow pointing upwards. Data. The gravitational force on B is just F equals mg, which is 1.96 times 10 to the negative 3 newtons. The separation distance is just a measurement, which is 0.01 meters. And then the charge on tape B is solved by having F gravitational equals F electric field, and we solve for Q, which gives us a Q of 4.67 times 10 to the negative 9 coulombs. The excess electrons is just the charge Q divided by the electric charge of an electron, and this gives us 2.917 times 10 to the 10 electrons. And then the number of atoms is just going to be the length of the tape divided by the size of an atom, which is 2 times 10 to the 9th atoms. The ratio of electrons to atoms is just going to be the number of electrons divided by the number of atoms, which is 14.59. And then the electric force on the floating tape, we plug the numbers in and we get 1.96 times 10 to the negative 3 newtons. In order to do the experiment, however, we had some assumptions. And these are that the electrons are uniformly distributed throughout the tape, that the charges were located at a single point in the center, so we can use Coulomb's law as point charges, and that each tape had the same amount of charge, and it's evenly distributed along the length of the tape. For the coding, I have my constants at the top, and then I created two spheres for tape A and tape B, and then I gave them charge. And then I used the function we coded on lab 0 in order to get the electric field. And then I called the function to get the electric force from tape A on tape B, and then the gravitational force on tape B. And then at the bottom of the screen, what I did is made sure that my code would return the amount of charge necessary to float one tape above the other, and that would be printed out at the bottom of the screen. And this is what I got. The top one is tape B, and then we can see that's the force of tape A on B. And then we have tape A at the bottom, and that would be the force of gravity on tape B. And then at the bottom of the screen is the necessary charge, Q equals 4.67 times 10 to the negative 9 coulombs. So the questions. The answer to question 1 is that the main observations would stay the same, which means that the tapes would still repel each other even though electrons would be positive now. And they would also be attracted to neutral objects because tape would have a negative charge, and they would still be attracted to neutral objects, and they would still be attracted to the plastic pen because the pen would just have a positive charge. And then for the second question, it's important to not touch the tape that much because the more hands or other objects come into contact with the tape, the more charge the tape will lose and the more neutral it becomes. So the less we are able to touch them, the more charge they retain, and this will result in a better experiment. Conclusion. So in the experiment, we discussed electric forces and excess charge with the use of tape, which allowed us to visualize these concepts. And then from the questions, if the protons and electrons switch charge, there will be no impact in our observations. And the displacement of tape B allowed us to calculate the charge on the tape. And also we had to get other information. But this allowed us to also see that the tape has a positive charge.